Hot topic for content creators. This is where I pitch a hot topic to you, and then you turn around, create your own content on said topic. Why people read. And more specifically, the subject for tonight is why people read indie books. So first, I'd like to start out why I don't read indie books. I don't read indie because I want to discover who can best emulate the mainstream industry. Now, I'll take stories that contain raw, real, unrefined text appeal over all that sterilized corporate bullshit any day of the week. For one reason or another, I just possess an innate desire to seek out obscure works by individuals who may not always be the most experienced of writers, but the projects they produce contain fire in the sense that the work itself was created by an undeniable passion. Now, sometimes that passion presents itself in the form of artistic value, a hidden gem, if you will. And other times, that passion manifests itself as a freak of nature that takes on a life of its own in the shape of something so bad it's unintentionally good. For me, I consider both to be valid reasons for why people read indie. Look, too many hands in the pot spoils the sauce, as far as I'm concerned. And if I want to read something that's considered marketable based on some predisposed standards set by corporate execs who may or may not have any empathy left within their souls to understand what it means to be human, then I'll just look up whatever is currently trending on some bullshit hand-picked list of critically acclaimed nonsense, or check out whatever the good morning TV hosts are clucking about nowadays. Tell me you're a boring fuddy-duddy without telling me you're an oofy-doofy incapable of forming your own opinions. Now, on the flip side, don't even get me started on those book talk, bookstagram, clout-chasing hoe trains that every hollow trend follower likes to hop on just for clicks and giggles. For as many views and likes that those so-called reviews seem to muster, them bitches be just as basic by comparison, folks. The only reason those people will read anything from the indie market is if they think they can boost their own social media platforms by doing so. How does it feel to know that you people are the primary inspiration behind my unreleased short story entitled, I Have No Mouth and I Must Barf? Best believe I ain't here to pay lip service either. Just because I'm an active reader doesn't mean I'm here to be anybody's flippin' fucking cheerleader. Capiche? So for those of you who may be fishing for compliments or a pat on the back because you finally got around to finishing that book you started writing during the onset of your pubescence, good job. I'm proud of you. Now, the fan fiction section is located in the back next to that book rack filled with all the how-tos on developing your craft. Okay. I've noticed that some content creators, mostly the popular run-of-the-mill booktube channels, seem to think that reviewers should take it easy on indie books, or else they shouldn't be criticizing the work of indie authors at all, because according to them, that's considered punching down. And they also seem to think that their book reviews have the power to damage an author's reputation somehow. Wow. Narcissistic much? Where do I even begin with this one? First off, I am a published author. But you already knew that, right? But what BookTube may not know is that I have no problem with anyone who publicly shares their opinion about my work, whether it be good, bad, or ugly. And that has nothing to do with my work being indie or trad. That's just literally what it means to be a professional. Talk about consolation prizes. All you crybaby hacks out there need to understand that criticism comes with the fucking territory, pal. As far as I'm concerned, no published book, whether it be trad pub or indie, should be seen as blameless or beyond reproach. Now, with that being said, I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is, and I often bet on books that are published on the independent market. Mind you, it is my money that I am choosing to spend on a book by an author I hardly know anything about. Oddly enough, proactively financing a market that also fuels my passion is a crazy concept for some people to grasp. I know a lot of content creators suffer from something called conflict of interest because they're used to receiving shit for free. But you see, I don't have that problem, which is why I have absolutely no qualms about sharing my honest opinion, regardless if the book was indie or traditionally published. I wish I could say the same for all the content creators who participate in BookTube, but unfortunately, more often than not, they show themselves to be glorified shills in sheep's clothing, as far as that goes. Then there's the other side of the coin, where indie authors like to say something along the lines of, I don't mind constructive criticism, but if you can't say anything nice about a book, then you're just a jerk. As if they have any fucking say whatsoever about the way in which a reviewer chooses to share their personal reading experience. I got news for you, bitch. Book reviewers are not your personal beta readers. I don't read indie for the sake of helping some poor author fix what has already been published on the market. I have no obligation to any author whose work I choose to read. It's the author's responsibility to make sure their books are market ready before publishing them. Somewhere along the line, some of these newbies within the scene have been exposed to the cockamamie idea that if a reader comes across any issues with an indie author's book, that the right thing to do is to personally reach out to that author and provide them with a report so that they can fix those issues on the DL. If there's anything the greenhorns need to understand quick, fast, in a hurry, it's that your readers, who may also be your paying customers, they don't work for you. Okay, bud? Now, when I write my editorials, I will sometimes make it a point to share my insights on how I think a piece of work could have been better or improved upon by offering some constructive examples. And I do that knowing the author is likely to see what I've said about their work. Whether or not they value my criticism in that regard is none of my business, because anything constructive about my criticism is considered a courtesy as far as I'm concerned. Reviewers are not required to provide a full book report to indie authors, just like they aren't responsible for painting any book in a good light in order to make the author more sales. I read and review indie books to share my personal experiences with the work that's coming out of the scene as a means of being proactive within it. Look, if my editorials resonate with you as a reader, great. Glad I could turn your crank. Get them wheels spinning a little bit. You know what I mean? But if you're one of these people out here who needs permission or approval in order to use their own brain, hold on. Let me get my magic wand. All right. Alakazam, Alakazoo, I grant the power to you. There you go. Congratulations. You are no longer beholden to anyone else, and you are free from here on out to form your own opinion about any book you choose to read. That is, if that's what you needed in order to do so. And from me to you, welcome to the shit show, as far as that goes. People read books to have fun, which should be priority number one. So if you're like me, and you get a kick out of ripping shit apart, seeing what makes it tick, poking fun at it, or being one of the first few to discover its magnificence, then I think you'll enjoy the underground as much as I do, because that's precisely why I read indie. So why do you read indie books? Are you a hoe train hopping, hollow trend following, algorithm pleasing, social media influencer? Or is it because you receive free copies from groveling greenhorns pandering for pity reviews? Ew. Or maybe you have a friend or family member who just published their first book and they asked you to take a look. Now, I want you to blink twice if there's a gun in the room, all right? It's a trap. So drop a comment down below, join the combo, and let's have a gay old time, shall we?